Hi everyone. Welcome to my channel, Turkish Spotlight Secrets. All the twists are in today's video, and if you enjoy this kind of deep dive, a like and a subscription mean the world. You can even hit the join button to support us further. Now, let's get into it, because what's unfolding right now around Yağmur Yüksel and Barış Baktas is tugging at the boundary where private feelings collide with public expectation. In a single, quietly delivered sentence, soft but loaded, Yağmur let slip a confession that landed like a spark in dry grass. I needed some distance from Barış. Not shouted, not staged, but said with the kind of honesty that makes people lean in. Hours after those words began echoing across timelines and text threads, she did something even more startling. She packed a bag, kept the destination under wraps, and slipped out of the country without a hint to anyone outside her inner circle. The surprise wasn't just the ticket stamped at the airport. It was the void left behind, the hush that followed her exit. Yes, stars take breaks. Yes, a crowded schedule can push anyone to their limits. But this didn't feel like calendar fatigue. This looked like a deliberate act to step past the chorus of opinions and find her voice again. And when the person stepping away is one half of a couple that feeds headlines merely by sharing the same air at a launch event, the silence takes on its own meaning. Is this a pause sharpened into clarity, or an early chapter of a goodbye that neither wants to say out loud? People close to the situation whisper about days stretched thin by obligations, sets that wrapped late, meetings that ran long, and the way emotional exhaustion can linger long after the lights go out. But the pressure wasn't just work. Friends say the atmosphere between Yağmur and Barış started to ripple with friction, small disagreements that no longer stayed small, talks cut short at the worst possible moment, a sense that the rhythm they used to share had fallen out of step. A confidant phrased it carefully, as if measuring every word. She wanted to change the angle from which she was looking at her life. Nothing theatrical. Just a need for space that felt real. Anyone who has followed Yağmur's climb knows she's polished yet sincere, private yet generous with what feels true. She has that rare ability to stay present in an industry that can push people toward performance even off camera. So when she chooses to disappear for a moment, the move becomes more than a trip, it becomes a storyline. Some say she's dropped into a quiet European city where she can walk unnoticed, breathe different air, and let the days pass without a camera waiting. Others insist there's an international project on the table that pulled her out with urgency and promise. Whatever the motivation, the effect is the same. A stillness that no one can easily interpret, structured like a question begging for an answer she hasn't given yet. Back in Istanbul, those close to Barış describe him as composed, the way he's been in countless interviews, thoughtful, steady, not prone to spectacle. No cryptic live videos, no barbed captions. Just an acceptance that reads like respect. People around him say he understands the need for space, that he's not looking to force a reunion or to script the moment into a grand scene. To some, that restraint is proof of maturity. To others, it's evidence that the fault lines are deeper than anyone wants to admit. This is how rumors work, they pull silence apart and stitch it into new meanings. Meanwhile, social media did what it always does, it interpreted. Before leaving, Yağmur posted a tranquil landscape, the horizon blurred in a wash of light, and wrote a line that felt like a sigh, sometimes the path home begins by walking away. Thousands read it like a cipher. Half the comments framed it as a farewell, a coded curtain call. The other half treated it like a self-care mantra for a woman refusing to crumble in public. It's in these comments, these overlapping cries and comforts, that the real theater happens. People don't merely consume a headline, they revise it, argue with it, and carry it into their own lives. If we slow down the feed for a second, it's worth asking why a pause lands like a plot twist. We demand clarity from a moment that may itself be confusion. We want simple labels, breakup or breakthrough, because complexity never trends as fast. The truth, obviously, is messier. Between two people, there are the negotiations no one sees, the kindnesses that don't photograph well, the fights that start small and explode because they meet all the wrong hours of the night. Yet the machinery of entertainment thrives on certainty, and so the headlines arrive with their neat edges, even when reality keeps spilling out. Professionally, the timing is both risky and strategic. A well-chosen retreat can sharpen instincts, narrow priorities, and make the next move feel earned rather than frantic. It can also throw well-laid campaigns into chaos. What premieres were planned? What endorsements were primed to drop? Which scripts were waiting on a yes? The calculus is ongoing. People around her suggest that this break could be the hinge on which she chooses more carefully, maybe even stepping into a cross-border collaboration that lets her stretch into new territory. Others worry that the story of absence could overshadow what's already ready to release. Either way, she's at a crossroads that asks for balance, care for the person without losing sight of the career. It's impossible to ignore the way fans have rallied for both of them. They're posting old clips of red carpet glances, edits of shared laughter on set, and snippets from interviews where the warmth between them felt unmistakable. If you scroll long enough, you'll find theories for any future you want to believe in: a reunion sparked by a grand gesture, a private reconciliation no one will ever confirm, or two people choosing growth apart rather than together. What makes it compelling is that none of these options are absurd. They're all plausible, which is why the story keeps breathing. As for Barış, insiders say he's keeping busy the way professionals do when their personal life spins a little too fast: training sessions early, table reads on schedule, tight circles only. He's never been the type to weaponize attention. That reserve is part of his appeal, part of why this silence doesn't feel cold. It feels deliberate, maybe even protective. People who know him believe he won't chase a narrative that could come back to hurt either of them. He'll wait, and if there's a call to make or a message to send, it will happen quietly. What's most striking is how much the public has learned to decode mood from minutiae. A missing ring leads to a thread of 1,000 comments. A playlist shared late at night becomes a confession. Fans caught that Yağmur started liking travel accounts and architecture pages the week before she left. Suddenly, it meant something. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't. We rebuild their lives out of crumbs because we are not in the room when the conversation happens. We never are. There's a softer, braver reading of all this. Choosing silence is, in itself, a statement. It says that not everything has to be documented in real time, that healing isn't content, and that the heart, under pressure, doesn't owe a press release. That doesn't mean the world stops spinning around them. It means that what matters might be happening outside our gaze, which is frustrating and, oddly, hopeful. For people worried about what this means for their professional connection, the answer is equally complicated. A measured pause could make a future joint project even more electric, the kind of reunion that turns a premiere into an event. Or it could gently reset the path so that each of them takes on different challenges, free from the constant comparison that follows famous couples. Either path can be right. Either can be graceful. At Turkish Spotlight Secrets, we want to hear from you because your perspective is part of how this conversation unfolds. Is this distance the medicine their relationship needs, a sober chance to breathe and reflect? Or are we witnessing the first visible chapter of a separation neither wants to name yet? Would you rather see them stand side by side in a new project where that old chemistry can burn brighter, or do you believe they'll thrive more fully by choosing distinct directions? Drop your thoughts below. We read everything, and we'll highlight the sharpest takes in our next video. If you love following stories like this, told with care, curiosity, and a spotlight on the human side, remember to subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets, turn on notifications, and like this video so more people can join the discussion. And if you want to support the channel in a special way, tap join to unlock exclusive content and behind-the-scenes extras available only to members. Every subscription, every comment, every share helps us keep investigating, contextualizing, and bringing you the narratives that matter in the world of Turkish entertainment. For now, here is where we stand. Yağmur is away, letting a quiet landscape hold her while she weighs what comes next. Barış is here, grounded, giving the situation the respect it deserves. The story breathes in the gap between them. When she returns, the look in her eyes, the project she chooses, the way they greet each other in a room full of cameras, those will be the new lines we read. Until then, we wait together, curious, patient, and, perhaps, a little hopeful. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back soon with more updates, more context, and more of the stories that keep you close to the heart of what's happening. See you in the next video. Take care, and goodbye.